Hello and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Frostpunk 2, beginning of effectively the second stream day, although the first stream day was only a two-parter. While I was between parts, I did do a little bit of interaction with the game to figure out what mechanics I had sort of unlearned. So we're going to try to, based on some of those mechanics, I've realized I've screwed some things up here in the opening parts. So we're going to try to rush through into Chapter 2 and see if I can do some stuff in Chapter 2 to try to fix the city up a little bit. Mainly the expenses of trying to get the city running at this point may become a little untenable. But we might be able to change that once we get into further along. So if things sort of come together by the time we get into early chapter 2, then we'll try to run out the entire campaign here before restarting. If things look horrid come beginning of chapter 2, we might just start over. In which case we'll try to record like a 6-parter so we can catch back up to where we were and get to where we should be. So if you're watching this on YouTube, if there's 2 parts of Frostpunk 2 coming up today, that's why, as I decided that we were starting over. Spoilers if you see a second part of Frostpunk 2 up. If you're watching this on Twitch, you're going to find out whether or not we're going to start over along with me. So getting into some of the mechanics that I've learnt, let's say, is I was noticing when we were doing this earlier, it seemed like we didn't have any adjacency modifiers. And I remember, well, besides the squalor off of the industrial district, and I remember there being adjacency modifiers last time I played, and I suspected that they were. So if we get into the heat map mode, I can talk about how there are. So districts by default don't necessarily have adjacency modifiers, but if you kick them up to warm level, you'll notice the district I just kicked up to warm has gone warm, and the one next to it has. Well, districts that are warm heat their neighboring districts up, much like they were the central district. That can be useful in its own way. Although this might be a case where I might not have a good usable example of that, because I'm not sure how much I need to get these districts warm. Yeah, okay, so one of them heats one up and the one doesn't heat the other one up. That's what's going on there. So I'd have been a little bit more careful with how I built these districts, knowing mechanics that I think the pop-up tutorial didn't do a very good job of explaining to me. We could be running a slightly more effective city from a fuel use standpoint than I would otherwise be doing. I didn't take the time to learn how to rearrange districts, which is a bit of a shame actually at the moment. Knowing what I do now know, in that we can say warm that district and get two districts warm from that. And some districts, for example, have modifier effects from being warm. Most product-producing districts produce more product, so the farm here being warm, it produces more food. Housing districts that have a faction associated with them, clicking around trying to find one of them, I'm not actually finding one right now at the moment. Should have one. I should have one that's associated with the faction we have in the city. This one is. So we'll have the faction specific effect. So the faction specific effect for the Faith Keepers is their warm districts provide more housing. So we now have enough. Now that this district is warm, we have enough housing, which is good to know. And again, that also applies to productive districts. So there's an argument here to make this warm, so we get more crews to go out exploring. And that's in addition to making it bigger, providing more stuff. So going forward, and this is why I might restart. Had I known that, there's definitely ways we could have made the city better, let's just say. Oh, and this is an interesting situation. So this is what I was trying to show over this one. I warmed this district up, made it warm, which made this district warm. But this district warm makes this district warm. So I turned the heat up to make both of them warm, and then I could turn it down to keep them both warm. That's one way we can improve the city Right, so I'd have planned the districts out a little bit better. I could get away with a lot less coal. I'm keeping the same number of districts warm. The workaround I'm going to do that so I don't have to sort of rebuild the city is we're going to try to run into Chapter 2. Oil is more efficient than coal anyway. We're probably going to stick progress because of that, at least for the first couple of chapters. I'm going to intentionally play semi-suboptimally, and then try to do, in the final chapter, spoilers for the final chapter, I'm either going to do compromise or I'm going to send the people to the second colony site. Instead of imposing captain rule, for example. So I don't necessarily want to play optimal. I want to play in such a way that we can keep the city from boiling over in tension, which at some point will mean I'll have to pick a side. In fact, the main story will force you to pick a side. But yeah, we'll see how stable we are once we get the oil flowing from Chapter 2, and if that enables us to redesign the city. For example, these extraction districts for coal can basically probably be torn out at that point. This will run out in 10 weeks. This one's a little bit longer. This one's 200-something weeks, but we also just need more materials. Yeah, so we've got enough food for the moment. We are running... Well, we've run out of materials, basically. So we're going to have extra... I think that's squalor that's going to start settling because we're short on materials. And yeah, I don't have enough workforce necessarily for anything. I think we take you up. We pay the extra fuel, we take you up. We've got enough fuel again. And again, once we do the exploration, we're going to not need the coal. So let's get up onto the world map. Might not actually have a place to use the extra 10, in which case we'll put it back down to livable. So we got that expedition going. I need 20 to start you up, so maybe not you. Do I want more people? I need to have the new instables force to take you all in. Okay. And we're looking at 25, 20, 25. Okay, so there's probably some laws I want to pass before I do the extra people. Fair enough. So let's drop back into New London. We'll turn that back down, save the fuel. Back to livable. And yeah, at the moment we're a little short on workers. I do have enough that I can put you up. We'll mine you out a little bit quicker so we can get that disassembled. And then I'll probably try to move at least the blasting coal mine over to that location. And I think that's all our coal. Yeah, that's all the coal in the city. So we're on a timer as far as coal is concerned, which is why we need to move to Chapter 2. So let's unpause, let's let some stuff happen in the city. We got a new law up. I have, at the end of the last one, we agreed to sign a law in relation to children. Again, this is maybe a situation where a bit more of a meta playthrough would have prioritized getting, I think, both family or child law out of the way and funeral laws out of the way. The game will always tell you tensions being increased by not having one of these two. So if you do childhood early, it'll complain about fernals. If you do fernals early, it'll complain about children. And it defaults to complaining about children, and the children will fight if you don't do something about it. So, hindsight, I think more optimal play does one of these two laws earlier. We're going to do family apprenticeship, and we're going to need to do a little bit of negotiation to get this to pass. Let's look at the Frostlanders. What do the Frostlanders want? Moss infiltration towers researched, and they'll probably want it built as well, or expedition support passed. So exploration time slightly decreased. Or I can pop back out and look at what the New Londoners want. Ventilation tower. Grant the agenda to them, or mass produce goods. I suppose let's grant them the agenda. That's fairly benign at the moment. And then we'll vote on that. That'll give us a little more trust because we are completing one of the demands that we have of us.
The proposed law has been...
There we go. And then I've got on the new Londoners, which are these ones. We have a request to grant them agenda, so we'll grant them agenda. And at the moment, I'm going to actually argue they all like me. So maybe these guys a little too much. And I'm going to promote you. And now I'm going to make use of them all liking me. I'm going to wait 4 weeks. Okay. Wait 4 weeks, and then we'll ask them to go with our hat in hand, asking them for some stuff. Asking them for some money so we can renovate the city a bit. Oh, and I ideally should do some research. Nope, that's not the research button. I've been doing some research, never mind. Keep the warmth. District temperature. Steward received multiple complaints from citizens. The districts have grown colder of late. Everyone keeps coming to me to complain. There ain't much I can do. Last I checked, the steward who's supposed to keep us warm complained of furnace dictation. Global problem that requires heat solution. Open heat management overlay, allowing to allocate more. Okay. I think that's just a reminder that I can come in here and do stuff with temperature. I feel like I have more heat. We may have just had an event that caused the city to warm up. I think it automatically reduces the temperature level across the city if it can, when the city warms up. Another event. Stockpiles depleted sensors. Reminding me that the materials have run out, which is very, very true. I think we're still waiting for a couple weeks. 1 week. Might have been that tick over. 2 days. No. Give it a couple of days. Raise funds from you. Raise funds from you. I'm going to raise funds from you. So that gives us a bunch of funds with which to fix things in the city. Oh, I guess one of these guys was providing a bonus that went away.
Steward.
Because I see our coal stockpile productivity went down a lot. Oh, no, that was the coal mine finally ran out. Fair enough. So we'll demolish that building. Yes, demolish that building. The district is kaput either way. And then we will go ahead and put a blasting coal mine in our existing coal mine over here. I might put a second one as well. Just to finish mining it out. And then I suppose at the same time, can I get another extraction district? Yeah. Okay, just destroyed the building. So let's recycle the district. And I'm going to add the second blasting coal mine in here, which will, again, continue to help with generating heat. And obviously that will make that one more temporary, but that's fine. We're ready for that exploration. Complete. The others. Cavern by the Bay, we found a disturbing sight. Bodies in sturdy Frostland gear, neatly laid side by side, left to freeze, with black oil markings over their closed eyes. A ghastly ritual. Ghastly burial ritual. A map we found suggests they're headed to the old machine, somewhere by the desolate coast. Machine would require a source of fuel. We should investigate. So that's giving us an idea of where to head. We take more Frostlanders in if I need more people. I do not need them right now. I think that's our destination. We've got 2 places to explore. Let's zoom into the city. I'm going to warm up this district, making it livable. That gives me a Frostland team output increase. That allows me to explore both these locations at the same time. and that is worth, I would argue, the fuel, because we get to do two things at once instead of one thing. Okay, and then we unpause. Again, we've got this emptying out, which is intended. Once this is out, I'll probably actually warm up the districts. Okay. So we got our second blasting coal mine, so we're basically on a timer for the coal. The coal will be out in 71 weeks.
Hear us, steward.
When one door closes, Steward, the Faith Keepers have begun their monthly processions. Visiting each door in the city is a symbol of the captain's presence alive in every home. However, a select group of Frostlanders refuse to leave the doors open. We aren't getting in their way, we just don't want their strangers barging into homes, one say. We're all one flock under his wing, urged the priest, how can we be united if one of us steps away? What should we do? So, I can improve relations with New Londoner and the Faith Keepers, I can stop the profession which pisses off the New Londoners and the Faith Keepers, or I can just say no, which lowers the opinion of all the communities. For the moment, we'll take the pit hit with the Frostlanders. Okay, that district finished. I'm going to go ahead and expand it right away. I think most of my districts I've already expanded. Oh, I haven't done you. You might be worth expanding. Especially now that I've done the hat in hand, go around and get more stuff. And yes, this district is empty, so it's time to just demolish it. And I'm ready to do another research. Let's grab another research. So I could go for the advanced housing installation. I don't think this increases the cost of the installation, and that does make sense to do if that's the case. Could also get workplace installation. Okay. Or we do have a resource issue, so there is an argument for sawmills for more resources. -1 temperature level I'm a little opposed to. Although that might be quite fixable with the upcoming oil, I suppose. Yeah, I'll push for the untreated sawmill here. Okay, so disassembling you. I've actually got enough workforce I could put another district down, but we're not going to. I think we're going to invest more in buildings. Got that expansion coming in. Oh, actually, if I'm going to do another district, it's going to be another housing district. It's going to be. So we can have space for more people to come in. Let's think about that. Housing district, it's going to go in this bit up along warm area. So it'll be +1 temperature area. We'll go there, increase adjacency for you, so when it's actually full-on warm, it affects more places, and then we'll probably expand it so it has a little bit more adjacency to the growing place there. Delegate session. They've placed mass-produced goods on the vote. It is expected simply to pass. I'm going to engage in a good bit of democracy and just let the people vote on it. I could get in the way and try to stop it if I want, but I do not feel that is good use of our political power.
The eyes have it.
Okay, so food is positive. That is good to see. We're a little materials short. The way to fix that, I think it's going to be the sawmill. And then we're goods short as well. And that'll probably get worse as we get more stuff in the city. Okay, so you are in. I'm actually going to tick you up to warm. Which isn't enough to warm you up. Isn't enough to warm you up, although it will be after I expand this district a bit. So that should be 4 adjacencies. Not warm that one up. I might intentionally warm that one up for the warmth bonus there. Yeah, so we're neighbor 3 there, so I think I do there, try that. Cutthroat economy. Paid essentials. Stewart, now that we're charging for some essentials, some unemployed families are unable to afford basic necessities. Work goes the worthiest. If those people were passed up, it's their own damn fault. They should put in the work instead of expecting the city to solve their problems, claimed one of the Frostlander delegates. Others of more measures say we could provide them with a weekly allowance. If we can't offer them work, we will give them a budget. Up to them to use it wisely. So we're going to give basically unemployment insurance here. We'll get less heat stamps, but as long as we're, as the government here, a little bit good at our budgeting, that should not be a problem. Population increased, so we got more people, which is a good thing for grabbing more housing. The city grows. I see that game.
The Faith Keepers are accepting the donation of...
Okay, so the new district is now warm. I'm surprised that is not enough. I would have expected 4 adjacency to be enough for you. Might be the other way around. If I warm you up and you up, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so that's up and down on you. Do I have enough adjacency? I can turn you. I'm trying to think about which of the ways here it's going to be. Yeah, okay, so that one plus this one makes that one warm, so we get 3 for 2, basically. Am I in a situation... Can I warm... No, that's still not enough. Or... Am I in a situation where if I turn... okay, so I need some heating there. Sure, we'll run something like that. So this is the one that actually probably doesn't matter, unless I want the good bonus. I want the good bonus. Let's say we want the good bonus. And we're a little food negative because of the growth in the population. And we're goods negative. So there may be an argument for getting another one of you, but then I probably need more materials, which is a sawmill. So let's wait until we get the sawmill here, at least. It is also about to get colder, so I'm going to have to use more fuel to keep the city warm. Well, I may have to make more choices, more hostile choices at that point. Or the other option is I can come by and I can start doing the insulation decrees. Right now this should be +1.
The council has convened.
Okay, council's convened. I can pick a new law. We've got our 2 survival ones already chosen. I could do something about contagion or surplus heat. I do have all the houses now warm, so I could use that to get more heat stamps. Or I can do funerals. Let's go for the heat stamp one. As long as we can keep everyone housed and all the districts warm, this provides me with more heat stamps, which gives me ways to deal with problems. I'm going to need some sort of filtration law. Let's agree that that's the filtration law we're going for. Although that doesn't buy me enough votes, so never mind. I need to negotiate with the Londoners. Ooh, I might not be able to get this one to pass without agreeing to something I don't want. Okay. I would rather agree to this one and take the gamble on the pass. Let's go that way. The more, my opinion, the more undecided votes agree with whatever I'm trying to pass.
The votes
Okay, so we just barely passed that. It wouldn't have been the end of the world if they said no. That should give us more heat stamps going forward, which gives me a better capacity to control the opinion of the groups. And we'll have to keep everything warm, but that is kind of the plan.
Take note. A new rule enters into force.
Got our untreated sawmill. We have a council, but will anything actually change? Okay, so that is the birth of the new party. The Evolvers. I see. So we've got to agree with Moss Filtration Tower. Filtration Towers. We're going to start on the Moss Filtration. That's the one we agreed to, research-wise. Construction, I am going to go ahead and grab one of those untreated sawmills, because we're a little bit low on materials. If I didn't have the agreement here for the Moss Filtration Tower, I'd probably go for a food research instead. However, we're about to advance the quest line a little bit here, so let's unpause. Yeah, 4 different places. One of them is marked as important. We'll come to the important one last. Crashed transport. An old coal-hauling crawler, half buried in the snow. It appears the transport's navigation devices were tampered with and its charts were inaccurate. Graffiti has been etched on one side. New London leeches. Regardless of what happened here, the coal is ours for the taking. So we get 50,000 coal. 5 Frostpunk teams will be required to bring that in. I think that's worth doing right away. Whale mine. Possible settlement. Multiple pods of whales frozen here after being pursued by humanity's last whaling vessels in the freezing harbor. The scouts are amazed at the sight of massive bodies made pale by the ice. Finally, I found my white whale. The scout commander jokes. No one laughs. Years ago, the captain sent a team with machines to bore through the ice and mine out the whale meat. We can take the machines back to New London to assist our extraction, or send a new team here to finish the job. We're going to send a new team here to finish the job. We would need Frostland teams to set up the road and such. Mangled cart. Again, we can send 10 people to bring back the cores here. Among the debris is a mangled cart. We found an old navigation log. We can't wander forever. If we can only get through this canyon, we can set up a permanent base next to the oil. The cart holds a number of cores. And then the final place that we're going. A ruined machine lies across a crevasse. You may remember it from the prologue. Wagons spilled into the nearby snow. There are clear signs that the people have come and gone from the site, even storing goods here. What amazed our scouts the most was the huge quantities of readily available oil. This could be the fuel source we've been searching for. We found oil. This place might finally prove the fuel we've been hoping for. We'll be able to build a new colony on this site, more importantly, for oil, for fuel. Oil tubes. Nomads. On the broken shore lies an old, derelict dreadnought. It seems to have been upgraded to run on oil, as it rests beside rich deposits. Perhaps the site was a refueling station. But deep in the black pools lies rows of frozen bodies, wrapped in shrouds and placed in the still wells. Our scouts shudder at the site. These oil deposits would surely solve our fuel needs, but we would have to desecrate these graves to access all of them. What should our teams do? Well, we have the religious people in town, so we're going to let the dead lie in peace. We will only access the vacant oil deposits. Oil will save the city, but we need to adapt our generator to use it. In the meantime, we'll need to establish a reliable supply. It's time we settle beyond New London. Create a colony at the old dreadnought and connect it with a solid trail to New London. Only then can the supply be assured. So to set up the path, I think we can actually do this with 10 teams. Okay. I pick the right peg location. I think we can do the whole way. We can do the whole way in 2 steps. And yeah, the 10 Frostland teams will go out and do that. That costs us 50 heat stamps and 10 prefabs, getting us that road. And we've got another location here. Tanker filled with oil. Once we have the Scouts headquarters building, we can send 5 teams to get 50,000 oil back. We don't really need that right now, so that's fine. Okay. So, it's going to take like 2 weeks. Oh, and we're already showing signs of the material. Oh no, that's my building being built. Let's say the material running out. No, that's a different indicator. Different speed bar. So these guys would have preferred had we desecrated the bodies, desecrated the tombs to get access to the extra oil. That's where they were grumpy.
Forecasts call for colder temperatures. Take action.
Okay, so let's look at our temperature situation. So some of the zones cooled off. Yeah, so if we warm a couple of those up like that, they warm each other up. Well, I kind of... Ah, there's a temperature max. I have a max that I can warm them up to. Although I need to get that one warm, don't I? Keep that one warm. That one warming actually warms the other one up, so I need that one warm. Okay. To, oops. Warm you up. And then I think I have to cool you down. Yeah, that cools that one down. Okay, so I think this is the best we're going to do given the circumstances. This is one reason I want to transition over to oil relatively quickly. Again, had I think I designed the city better, we wouldn't be struggling quite so much with temperature. The housing is sorted. We're actually about to send people out of the city, which means I can probably cool the districts down a little bit when we do that. And we do have surplus minerals, so that is good to see. Do I go for more speed, the mining here? The quicker I mine it, the quicker I can turn these districts off. I effectively reabsorb the districts, workforce in the districts. So I think the answer is yes. Although we fill up in 42 weeks, so that's maybe a no. That's maybe an argument for a no. The other alternative is I can go for... This might be the way to go. Go for some heating hubs. If I can get these to heat up 2 districts that I was previously heating, such that I can drop their temperature by 1 or more. Well, if it heats up 2 districts and cools them down enough that I can drop their temperature by 1 each, then that's enough to pay for itself. So I'm not sure if that location is enough. So you're 214 there. You're still 214 there. That would make that tile not usable, but I could always put a different sort of hub there. For example, I could put like the food storage hub. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do that and see how that plays out. Oh, and our exploration crews are already done with the road. I don't need that oil yet. And I need to improve our... No, I can get... Oh, there's 1 exploration I can do. Or 2 explorations I can do with the current skilled guys. Oh, and I suppose the road building only costs 10 teams, right? Yeah, the road building only costs 10 teams. So I can hook up the existing road like that. And is the road done? Oh, I'm gonna have to get my teams back anyway. Oh, and you're complaining about being too hot? Yeah, you're complaining about being too hot. Okay. That gets me another 10 teams. We'll leave you unlivable until the road's done. I think it's gonna take 2 weeks. So we're waiting for
The
10 people
evolvers
back. The first road is
invite
done,
all
which should take up
citizens
5. The
for
second
a
road is
free
not yet done.
prosthetics
Again, it takes about 2
consultation
minutes.
every Tuesday.
Okay, so that's done. So that's actually telling us we've got a district that is too hot, which is believable. So I can take it away from you, and instead I can give it to you. Can I cool you down at that point? No. Yeah, if I had a little bit better adjacency, that would have been bigger effect. Oh, and now that I have you in, you are no longer warm and toasty. Because I think it's you two play off of each other. Right, if one's warm, the other one's warm. Yeah, and prime the pump like that. Okay. Warm you up, that warms both up. Cool you down, you stay warm because of the effect playing off each other. Okay. Okay, let's close that for the moment, and we'll reevaluate getting some more heat with some of those AoE effects from the heating hubs. So you'll definitely be good there. And then I can always combo maybe another one over there. Again, this affects 2 districts. It's not affecting the 2nd district very well. But whether that makes a big difference or not is a different question. Let's try that one. And then law pass. I think we're going to have a follow-up complaint about funerals if I don't do something about the funerals. People are divided. I'm going to do this one because it decreases disease a little bit. Some of the options we're going with right now increase disease. I'm going to offset that. And I'm trying to sort of play a little bit unoptimally. We're not favoring one party, one side or the other of the debate. So that we have a little bit of more difficulty later on. So I'm going to need to negotiate to get that passed. Won't negotiate, won't negotiate, won't get negotiated. One is... Oh, I've got a... I haven't activated one of the frost thunders. What's the frost thunders one? Oh, it's already been... So they won't negotiate because they want their... They've already got a promise outstanding. And I'm working on that, so that's not a problem. So, I gotta go hat in hand out to the New Londoners, which is fine. Condemn, actuate the heat dispatcher. Increases squalor, provides more heat. I will agree to actuate the heat dispatcher. I don't necessarily know how long I have to leave it on for. But we can take a little bit of squalor. We're working on filtration, which reduces squalor. And with that, that's a guaranteed pass.
The proposed law has been approved.
So that's the building, I believe, on you? No. Ooh, now I may have agreed to something I'm not actually able to do. That's a good question. Oh, I've agreed to research something. Okay. I'm guessing that's in Heat House. Heat Dispatcher. There we go. So they want this. Okay, so build this in a district. It costs us squalor, but it raises temperature, or I get a one without a negative, but it's a lower heat bonus. Yeah. We agree with that. We're gonna be tied up as a side effect. So I probably don't want to pass any other try to do anything to try to pass laws in the meantime. Okay. Before I get more wood, let's move on to that colony. So the build should be just about done with the road. I'm correct. Yeah, soon. Yep. One of our districts was damaged. That's just a little bit of workforce and prefabs for a while. Prefabs aren't a problem. That's coming from Squalor, because we don't have Squalor under control. Ouch, my finger. These effing spindles. Boss lady keeps joking, I'll fall asleep and get woken up by a prince. I don't get it. If a prince came near me, I'd rob him blind and make him do the bloody spinning. But it's alright. Gonna beat my record today. Nice, strong yarn. Auntie Mabel says if I can weave, I can work with her at the mill. Beats freezing in the streets. Okay, so family apprenticeship. So this is a follow-up event from during the family apprenticeship law. Okay, so repair is completed. Waiting for our 10 Frostland teams to come back so I can warm the district up and send out the 20 to build the colony. And again, at this point, we have plenty of coal. I don't mind burning the coal supply down a little bit. Frostlander demands meant. The Frostlanders are delighted you kept your word. They now look upon your rule more positively and consider you a leader with integrity. Okay. So now I need to follow up with the other law the other one I agreed to research, which is the heat dispatcher. Okay, so with that heat dispatcher done, probably better off seeing it in this setting. Should be able to cool you down without actually cooling you down. I do still need to put the heat level in there. Yeah, I'm at the point where I don't have enough fuel because I ate it with the fuel dispatcher. Okay. Maybe not getting the level of overlap I was hoping for with the dispatchers here. Still think we're going to go for another one. +3... Now, this comes into the question on the rounding. So where am I from the warmth effects? I can't easily see. Okay. Never mind. I'll hold off for the moment. Although there is an argument... Yeah, one of the I think it's this one specifically I need to keep warm. Yeah, I can do that trick to get it warm. Okay. Oh, and I need the heat from 1 to warm 1 up. Okay. And then that gets me my housing, because that's the one that is got the most from the gatekeepers. And then I'll put my extra warmth into you. Well, we need the 20 teams for the colony found. And I suppose I should build the district the building. Right, so we got a moss filtration tower. Which notably reduces squalor. Let's put it in that slot. Okay. Did I get around to building? I have not built the factory in there. So right now actually got no supply. Well, we got a little bit from the central district. Let's get the factory up. So in addition to more goods, we get more prefabs. So we're not worried about running out of prefabs.
Our elderly citizens are encouraged to pre-register their funerals.
Okay, so
at
we're
their local harvesting parlor.
positive on everything. So I'm probably not going to start over. We're probably just going to run out the rest of the main campaign here. The city is not optimally built, but we're playing on steward difficulty and not captain, so I don't need it perfectly built. Okay, so the game is like you gotta keep passing those laws. So let's bring up another law for proposal. So this is, they want something about contagion. I don't want to do shelter demand is increased, so we're going to go for infectious badge. This is going to cost a little bit of tension. But if we don't have any disease, we'll get a follow-up event where they like, oh, you can now remove, you get the negative effect from not having it goes away. I'm going to have to negotiate with people to get this pass. And it's going to have to be the Frostlanders if I want it passed. They want me just to grant them the agenda. I'm on board with that.
The delegates have spoken. The law takes effect.
Steward.
A law has passed in the council. Take...
They still working on that road? Oh, they're actively shipping food from there. I want you back for the moment. I built the road. That should have been done like 2 weeks. And the answer is yes, because they're sending me food that I don't really need right this moment. Okay, so turn you up to livable, or to warm, so we get 5 more teams. We're going to send the colonists, which require 20 teams and 15 weeks. Right now we're really happy on the housing. Do I just turn down the number of workers I have some of these for the moment? Because I don't need the housing so much. And that frees up workforce. That didn't have to be taken from anywhere, but that frees up workforce. Okay. Oops. Slight update, now we're workforce negative, so I want to turn you... Ah, I did need the workforce, it just hadn't updated the workforce. That's more of an issue. Okay, I actually need less on you. Not the temperature change. So try to work there. Turn you on. There we go. Now we're housing positive, that's where we want to be. And food positive, so that's fine. I'm going to need more food production because we've only shipped those people out. They're going to still need to be fed. But once we get those people delivered, we'll have our exploration crew back and we can go find more people. That's how we'll deal with it. Warmer season, so we're going to have to adjust all our temps. We've got a couple places that are complaining about being too hot. Save some fuel by cooling them down. So the only places where we don't have at warm at the moment, and actually I think it's still worth warming them up, so let's go ahead and warm them up, are the 2 mineral producing areas. And the reason it's worth warming them up is we're about to transition from using coal to using oil. I think I'm going to do that as the hard transition. One of the options is to do a hard transition. So we're waiting for those guys to arrive at the end. When they arrive at the end, then we go do stuff in the oil dreadnought. Lenders in demand. They've delighted you kept your word, which was the research their thing. They don't actually have to build it, which is nice. And then I've got a grant agenda on the Frostlanders.
Steward.
That's the new Londoners.
Steward.
So they get the next one. That clears that up. Boat-wise, or idea law. What do you want to go for? Oh, I could just argue for making the heating hubs use less heat. I think that is a reasonable thing to do. Okay, so you should be... Oh, that was them they've arrived. They can't do anything at the minute. I think. Yeah, we haven't got our teams back yet, so they're still working. I could do some, and in fact I will do some. Let's do some limited frost breaking. I don't necessarily have enough workers to do anything particularly aggressive. But I do eventually want to break out to that one in the north, that one in the south, and eventually we might want to try to take some advantage of the crevices for a bit more housing. Do 5 at a time, because actually no, I can do 6 at a time, because that's the amount of workers we've got. Frost breaking. Once more. 6 more are a go. So that gets me to the old way station. And then again, we go check. We're not done yet. Yeah, you're not done yet. I have an area complaining about being... Oh, you're complaining about being too hot. Okay, let's take you down to... You're fine at just warm. And that actually means I'm making enough coal. I'm coal positive now. And we're at the point where, again, we want to burn through coal. I'm going to steal, as a side effect, the workforce from the mine. Put elsewhere. Oops. Not temperature, workforce. Yeah, that'll be fine. Burn down the oversupply of it.
The floor is open.
We've delegated that session. Unless I come to their aid, they will lose the vote. I don't need exploration time to be decreased. I'd rather have, like, success or safety improved. And I think one of the other laws might be safety. So we're just going to let it pass, or we're going to let it fail as it is. We don't really want that law change. So that is fine. If that happens one too many times, they'll get grumpy that the law doesn't change. So we'll have to be a little bit aware of that. Okay, we got another event here. Mixed messages. Stewart, the Faith Keepers wish to talk to you about your recent proclamation of support. They urge people to join us, for which we are grateful, but they do, and then they are shocked to learn that we do not support the measures you have enacted, such as the harvesting funerals and saluting factory, which are in fact the ideas of the misguided evolvers. We ask you to make your stance clear with unequivocal enunciation of the evolvers and what they stand for. What is your reply? Commit to it. Undo those two things or condemn them for, bringing up the whole problem. I'll go ahead and condemn them. They've been condemned. I think it's actually the other one, right? So it's these guys that have to do for the de-radicalize. Of course, I can now turn around and... I suppose if I had enough... hadn't done it too recently, we could do promote them to get rid of the fervor. Again, I think we're fine with them having a little bit of fervor. For the moment. That's something we want to fix. That's not something we need to fix right away. Again, the mine runs out in 41 weeks. Don't think that's actually a big concern. I do want them to be relatively happy. Let's fund some of their projects using green stamps to prove their happiness. Wasn't enough. Okay.
Stewart.
Please do not pilfer more.
I probably should have actually gone with pissing off the evolvers because I can de-radicalize them with the prosecutors. Okay, so our colony is set up. Gonna engage with one more cross breaking here before we move out. Pop over to the other city. Okay, so over here, obviously, we want to get the place warm enough we can turn the furnace on. Which means we need to get some oil extraction. I need to get some housing. We got unhoused people here. Not particularly appreciative of the placement of those abandoned huts, but it could be worse. Well, that's the Nomad's burial ground. So that's not the one we want. I'm gonna expand off of there. Although I do want to do some frost breaking over here. Do some frost breaking over here anyway. Alright, and this is mainly so we have space to do the abandoned hut mining. That's enough there. And then over here, I need to run out for the oil over there. Or down there. Can't quite get there, but we'll be able to do that in the second clear. And I got enough workforce if we can do a third. Let's also do a third towards the one down there. Unless thinking it's important to grab prefabs, and it's more about oil here. I think the only resources here are prefabs and oil for us, yeah.
Stewart.
Visions of our future. Steward. Everyone in New London is awaiting the moment we get our steady supply of oil. So many fears would vanish, so many dreams made possible. But those dreams seem to diverge. Faithkeepers paint visions of an eternally warm New London, as warm as only the oldest among us remember. But evolvers want to use this newfound power to reach out and settle remote places on the Frostland, making it our own. Both factions started thinking about how to use the oil when it reached New London. When it does, we'll have to decide. So we'll go ahead and complete the Black Gold quest here. and then we'll put the part break in. So we're gonna let this part go a little long. Extraction depot. Yeah, we're gonna get some squalor, but this is temporary squalor. While we extract those. And then I need another frost break. For the 2 oil deposits. Probably not. Well, I could put stuff next to it, but I'm probably not going to put anyone next to that one, so we'll just do that as a small one for the moment. Again, I believe this generator has to run off of oil, so I have to get the oil to turn it on. Okay, so the district is up. District, because the generator is turned off, is chilly. Although chilly is not too bad. We've got enough housing for everyone for the moment. Our frost breaking is done, so we can follow up with our extraction districts. And I need to be able to transfer at least 77, so if I do both, and I think we can do both. Run a little low on the housing until I can turn down the prefab production, which is actually what I want to turn down. So I can get both of the extraction districts going. Okay, so you can get turned down. I can turn you up. I might as well turn you all the way up. Actually, don't turn you all the way up. Turn you up enough that we got, you know, enough people here. And then we want that oil to be flowing. Twitch chat say, the achievement's apparently saying I got twice as much heat as demand. Badge of shame. Infectious badge. Steward with disease currently under control, and more citizens resent being forced to wear unwarranted infection badges. I got the clap, but ain't spreading that to no one just by breathing, complained one. But the blasted thing pinned to me, everyone runs at the sight of me. So, I've now got the ability to go back to none, and we may decide to do that. Although, probably want to do something to, you know, deal with the health problems before we do that. We're not going to immediately vote back to that. I do have exploration, so let's get you exploring, now I'm thinking about it, and you exploring. Anyway, waiting for this to warm up. I should have enough heat to keep the place warm. And we are going to need materials and goods shipped out here, ideally. Blind heating towers. New upgrade proposed by the Frostlanders. Let's turn the generator on. So the generator is on. I'm surprised. Okay, so that one warms them both up. That works. Want you to be livable at least. You to be livable as at least. And that is not actually going to be enough production initially, unless I want to short the temperature a bit. I suppose we can do by making you. Yeah, let's care about New London more. we'll run with that. That gets me enough to get black gold going, and we can work on the tech that we're going to need to get that to be more productive. I think that is going to basically be pump jacks, right? So I'm going to go with this one for squalor, or this one for disease. Being slightly increased out here. Go with the disease one. We'll go with this one. We'll have to send more people out here because obviously we don't have enough people to do that. But at the moment we can do our transfer of what? Which should be enough, I believe, to do the quest jump. So to New London, I want to ship... Oops, not food. And I suppose actually, let's ship the... needed supplies. And we can ship the oil. 75 units of oil. Here we go. A new fuel flows. Anticipation fills the air as the first transport oil is sent to New London. The dream of a future without feeling cold feels surreal. To make it happen, however, we will need to modify the generator to turn this black gold into heat. This will be irreversible. What future we build for ourselves will depend on it. That should be the end of Chapter 1. Yep, Chapter 2. Ambitions. Now that we're not scraping the barrel, worrying about survival, it's time to get a little ambitious. What the people are thinking now. Ambitions, Chapter 2. People cheer as oil reaches the city, but the question remains what it means for our future. The years of suffering are coming to an end. Their leaders shout across the city squares, with the gift of oil and the light of the furnace, we can defeat the frost and build a warm paradise. Let us improve the blessed engine and pump oil until the snows of the city melt forever. However, the evolvers disagree. The frost is our reality. But the Faithkeeper lecture is not only foolish, it is hubris. We cannot wait for New London's generator to rust. We have to adapt to this world, settle, and repopulate the Frostlands. We're going to defeat the Frost here. We'll do another run later on where we embrace the Frost and the new worlds. We're going to defeat the Frost. Wraithkeepers will approve of this decision. Evolvers will disapprove of this decision. Unlocks the oil pump generator upgrade that uses its own oil. Unlocks the ability to exploit unlimited deep deposits versus the other one, which is unlimited outpost settlements. Defeat the Frost. We first need to upgrade the generator with oil pumps to use the new fuel. Then we must research and further upgrade the generator with surplus injectors to make New London warmer than ever before. Newfound oil can also help us reach previously inaccessible deep deposits, which will not run out. We may tap into them for the security of the city. So, at the moment, we've kind of pissed off both factions. So we gotta construct the oil pumps, research and construct the surplus injectors, research the melting deep deposits tech, and build it. So it's research, build, research, build, research, build. Heat all districts to warm, which we actually are currently doing. Did it immediately give us that new building? It did immediately give us that new building. I may procrastinate on that for a moment. Because right now we're burning coal, and we've got enough coal for some number of weeks. Yeah, procrastinate on it a little bit. Let the oil pile up while we deal with some stuff. But at the moment, this is where we're going to put the part break in. So if you're watching on YouTube, we will have another part up tomorrow where we'll begin Chapter 2. Burn our coal stockpile down, build our oil stockpile up, get more oil production so we're not just warm in the capital, but we're also reasonably warm out in the colonial area. There's a couple different things I think we can do to help with the colonial area being warm, but we want to be not having problems here by having problems over there. We want to kind of fix all the problems. And this transition is non-reversible, so I don't think... There's a tech in here, I believe. And resources. So charcoal plants as materials. There's one in here, I believe, that is coal to oil. It may only show up, I suppose, if you coal liquefaction. There it is. So, in theory, if we don't use up all the coal, we can use this to turn coal into oil. Right, so at the cost of coal, we get oil. Not exactly in a descriptive rush to do that. Again, I think we procrastinate a little bit with doing the transition to oil just to build up the stockpile in the city a bit. But yeah, that'll be the next part. So until the next part, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and/or stream, and bye for now.